If you can't enjoy where you are right now, you won't magically enjoy it when you get the relationship, the job, the money, or even the dream life. Later isn't the solution, now is the training ground. So today I want us to have a real open conversation about this, about why it is so important to enjoy where you are now, why so often we finally get the things that we want and we still feel that unease, and the reality of what it really takes to break that cycle. Because I'm sure we've all been there. You get the thing you wanted so badly, and within a month you feel like numb. It's not enough anymore, and then your brain immediately jumps to, okay, what's next? But if we're always living in that state of chasing the next milestone, real joy will always be out of reach. So in this episode, I want us to talk about how we can stop postponing happiness for later and instead start practicing it now in this season, no matter where you are. And the first thing that has been so helpful for me is realizing I'm not alone in this feeling. And there is a lot of psychology behind all of this that I really wanted to quickly share with you. The first reason is this arrival fallacy. So this is a misconception that reaching a significant goal or milestone will result in lasting happiness, when in reality, the feeling of fulfillment is often temporary and the person just starts going after that next achievement. And I have felt this especially on social media for myself. I remember, for example, I thought getting 10K on Instagram would make me feel so accomplished, so good, but a few weeks later, I felt stuck again and wondering when I would hit that next milestone. But if that's the case, when will we ever enjoy this exact achievement? Like if we are constantly searching for that next thing, when are we ever going to enjoy the accomplishments that we are actually hitting? The next piece of psychology is this dopamine dip. So dopamine rises in anticipation, not achievement. So the pursuit of going for something excites us so much more than arrival. And this is why people still feel empty after reaching big goals. Like we're constantly being like so excited working towards that goal and about how it's going to feel. And then we get it and we're like, okay, now what? And so what is really helpful is starting to see your goals as not milestones, or as milestones, not as finish lines, like as something that is along the journey, not as, okay, this is the end goal of where I want to be. The third little piece of psychology is the contrast theory, and I found this one so interesting. And this is that our brain experiences joy through comparison. And so like that's how we know, for example, it's what hot and cold are. Because if it was always cold, we wouldn't know what like hot is, like vice versa. So without boredom, failure, or waiting, happiness would just have no flavor. Like we wouldn't know what happiness is if we were always happy. And so we need those negatives to feel the positives. And so when you are going through those lows, rather than framing it as, this sucks, why am I going through this low? Why is this happening to me? Maybe just shift it a little bit to, wow, like this is great that I'm dealing with this. This might not be what I want to be experiencing, but even this low is going to allow me to experience the high even more, is going to make the joy even more delicious. Struggle doesn't block joy, it actually creates it. And really letting that sink in is such a powerful reframe of, it doesn't last forever, but it allows you to experience your joy, your good, your happiness so much more. And then the last piece is present moment awareness, which was a mindfulness research. There was a Harvard study that showed that 47% of people spend waking hours thinking about something other than the present. And that wandering just lowers happiness. When you're anywhere else but the present moment, you are not going to feel all of the joy that you're meant to feel. So basically almost half the time that we are alive, we are spending somewhere else than right now. And I think that is such a crazy thing to realize, because joy is only experienced in the now. And I know we've all experienced this where everything in the moment is going great, but we're like, why do I still feel off? And usually it's because we are stuck in the past or the future, so we aren't feeling all of the good in this present moment. So based on all of this, what are the shifts that we can make to really enjoy the now so that we don't have to wait for something later? The first step and the first thing that has really, really helped me is focusing on intentions over outcomes. This is about focusing on what you can control rather than the outcome of it all and how it's all gonna play out. And I think one big thing that makes a lot of us unhappy is this need for an outcome to turn out a certain way, to need things to turn out exactly how we think it has to be in our head. But we instead have to shift that to our intentions and what we can control. And the more that we are able to be present and enjoy our life and focus on the things that we can control, and the less that we are holding on so tightly to the outcomes, I truly believe it not only allows us to enjoy this moment more, but it allows us to be so much happier. The next shift is to rewire the someday loop. So when you live in the I'll be happy when shift, like that part of your life, you end up in the someday loop. It is a never ending cycle of, okay, well, I don't have this next, but I'll be happy when I get that thing. Or I'll be happy when I meet the person. I'll be happy when I get the job. But it's like, when is that ever gonna end? Because you're gonna get it and then it's gonna keep on going and going and going. And instead of saying, I'll be happy when, shift that to, how can I create joy today? And this was honestly one of my favorite pieces of advice I've ever gotten. And it was consistently asking myself how I can create joy in every single day, in every single moment, no matter what I was doing. Even if I was doing something that I wasn't necessarily ecstatic about, being like, okay, how can I bring more joy to this moment? And when you intentionally create joy in your life, even in those little moments, like it ends up trickling in to a bigger thing. And so like, even if you're putting little drops of water into a glass of joy, eventually you're gonna see that whole entire glass is filled with joy. The next shift is to train joy like a muscle. And the best and easiest way to do that is gratitude. I know I always say this, but the more that you train your brain to find the good in every single day, the happier you'll be and the easier it'll be to stay optimistic throughout your day and just in life. Like when you train your brain every single day to say 3 things that you're grateful for as you go throughout your day, when something bad happens, you're still gonna be able to find the things to be grateful for. So just ask yourself, like, how can I find gratitude in every single day? How can I just bring in the good in every single day and just focus on what is going good? And then the next shift is to embrace the messy middle. So 90% of our life is the middle. And if you don't enjoy it, you're missing out on your actual life. And I love thinking of it like this. If you were watching a movie and you just hated 80 minutes of it, and just enjoyed the last 10 minutes of it, would it even be worth your time? Like, would you even leave that movie being like, wow, that was a good movie? Like, no, you wouldn't. You'd probably be like, okay, why couldn't I just, or if you're just spending the whole movie being like, how is it gonna turn out? How is it gonna turn out? Like, you wouldn't be enjoying those 80 minutes of the movie. And so yes, I understand a movie is more passive because you can't control it. But if you didn't like 80 minutes, if you don't like 80 minutes of your life, like, you wouldn't enjoy your whole life. But you can choose to embrace the middle of your life. You can choose that even though like, oh, there's these things coming up that I don't like you can still choose to bring joy into it. You can still choose to enjoy it. You could still choose to bring things that you love to do throughout that messy middle when things aren't necessarily where you want them to be yet. And so if you take anything from today's episode, let it be this. Joy doesn't live in the someday. It doesn't magically arrive with the job or the relationship or the money or the dream life. Joy is built right here in this messy, ordinary, beautiful middle. And it is up to you to seize it, to enjoy it, and realize that later isn't the solution. Like now is the training ground. The more you practice enjoying where you are, the more that you'll be able to enjoy everything that is coming too. So stop waiting. Stop telling yourself you'll finally be happy when life looks a certain way. This is your life. This is the movie, and it is worth loving every single scene of it, and every single season of your life too. Like there is so much beauty waiting to be seen and noticed by you. And the more that you learn to enjoy it, the more that you will enjoy every single season of your life. And my challenge for you is to ask yourself, what's one way you can bring joy in today? Not later, not someday, today. Because if you can't enjoy now, you'll not know how to enjoy later either.